Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, honourable members of the European Parliament. Indeed, 12 o'clock could not make it because he's actually travelling in the Caucasus to prepare the meetings that you've alluded to of the President Aliyev of Azerbaijan and Prime Minister Pashinyan of Armenia in the margins of the soon-to-come Eastern Partnership Summit, 15 December. Both leaders have been invited by President of European Council, Charles Michel, to have side meetings during this summit. It is quite clear, as you have referred to, Mr. Chairman, that the situation remains very tense. A bit more than 1 year after this bloody 44-day war, and the recent clashes that you've alluded to in the middle of November with serious casualties on the international border. And it is important to underline it, not in the Karabakh region, but international border, is worrying. The EU institutions have reacted promptly in the sense that President Michel had the day after, on 16 November, telephone calls with both leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan, obviously asking for urgent de-escalation and full ceasefire, as well as the EU Special Representative was in contact with the OSCE Minsk Group co-chairs and the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister. As after 17 November, the situation has stabilized in the sense there has been no more shootings or killings, but it remains a very tense situation. On 19 November, President Michel again called the two leaders offering to discuss around 15 December. We also have seen that both leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan established a direct communication channel between the military at the Ministry of Defense level in order to prevent a re-happening of the latest incident, and was put in place on 19 November. You have also seen that on 26 November in Sochi, invited by President Putin, both leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan met. They issued a statement basically agreeing on three things. First, to increase the stability and the security through the work of a bilateral commission on the delimitation of the state border, with consultative assistance of Russia, which was requested by the parties. You know that indeed the demarcation of the state border, and I underline this is the state border, this is nothing to do with the Karabakh conflict, is disputed. Secondly, they announced, but without giving much detail, that they made significant progress on so-called sensitive issues of humanitarian nature. I suspect that behind that lies the issue of prisoners of war, but we don't have details. And the Armenians still claim that they have a number of prisoners of war in Azerbaijan, which the Azeri deny the status of prisoners of war. They say that they are terrorists who have violated the border of Azerbaijan. And thirdly, they discussed economic issues and unblocking the transport corridors. You have to be aware that the name corridor is not liked at all by Armenia because it presupposes that Armenia would not have the control of what goes in, what goes out, etc. in that so-called corridor. But for the convenience of our understanding, I'll refer to corridors, railway and road links, which were supposed to connect Azerbaijan with the western part of Azerbaijan, Nakhchivan, and further Turkey. So they announced that this trilateral working group on these economic so-called corridors would meet. What is another element, a positive, I would say, element, is that in the framework of the OSCE Minsk process, and as you know, the OSCE Minsk process is the only international format agreed to resolve the conflict of around Karabakh, even if Azerbaijani rhetoric says the conflict is resolved, but the latest clashes demonstrate the opposite, as well as the rhetoric. And the foreign ministers of Armenia and Azerbaijan met the co-chairs of the Minsk group twice in autumn, in September and November, and are supposed to meet tomorrow in the margins of the OSCE Ministerial in Stockholm. So to conclude, our position is obviously to try to have a secure, stable and prosperous South Caucasus, which is also important for us since the three countries belong to Eastern Partnership, and that we also are developing connectivity in the region, and obviously connectivity and state of war or hostility is contradictory. You know that President Michel went in July to the region, Commissioner Varey as well, and three foreign ministers of EU member states went as well in June on behalf of the High Representative. So there is clearly a commitment and a willingness from our side, but obviously the situation is very much also in the hands of the military and those who have boots on the ground, which is only Russia at this stage. It is quite clear that very opinous, very acute issues like the release of detainees and the demining, respectively for Armenia and Azerbaijan, I think are clearly complicating the issues, and it is, I think, not rational to believe that there will be much peace without these two issues being resolved. So we remain, and I'll finish by that, Mr. Chairman, remain supportive of the Minsk group process of the OSCE led by its co-chairs as being the only internationally agreed format to have an in-depth resolution of that conflict and a peace treaty, which of course is badly missing. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Luc de Vigne, for your introductory remarks. And now I hand over to Lawrence Meredith from DG NEAR. I understand that he is connected remotely. Mr. Meredith, you have the floor for 7 minutes.